This is the Art Beauty Podcast where we are always reaching for truth and beauty. Remember, the people and the brands are not paying to be here. So we get to have those true conversations because you deserve to be informed so you can make the best choices for yourself. With that said, I'm Amber Milton. Today, my fabulous co-host is Ryan Nickulas. For those of you who've been here since the beginning, you know that he and I started this together. And today, there is a very special announcement because this will be our final podcast. So there was nobody else I could wrap this up with but you, my love. Thank you for being here today. Just awesome to have you back.
Thank you for having me. I absolutely, when you shot me the text, it was like I teared up. It was
Yeah.
it's been a journey, and you've taken the baton and you've ran so far with this puppy. Holy moly, what is the total number of
So this
podcasts?
is 283. And here's some fun numbers. Over 140,000 episode listens just on like the audio side, not including everything from YouTube and all of those views.
Right.
But I mean, it's such an honor. And for everybody who has been with us from the beginning or maybe through midway, thank you for listening. It was not an easy decision, but I am changing my job. I'm going to be going full-time in-house with Laura Geller and her brand, and just wouldn't have the time, unfortunately, to do this. But that's not like I want to say goodbye because you never know.
You never know. Oh, it could be see you soon. It could be a
See you
remix
soon.
version. It could be, I'm just so excited to follow you on TikTok and all your socials to see what's next for you because, wow, the shift has already begun.
Yeah, but this has been such a great journey. And it's funny. I was laughing to myself today. I was like, well, maybe the idea of starting a podcast that wasn't sponsored, that brings in no income, like might not have been the best business decision. However, really, I feel like you and I started this out of passion, wanting to bring information to people that wasn't like, hey, here's brands on here. They're paying to tell you what they want to hear. But it
Ugh.
gave brands like a platform to actually talk about the products. And we did really feature stuff we liked, right? So I felt like that
Oh,
was
yes.
honest. And then there's been some episodes where people have come on and been like, where I've said, hey, your social media says that this product doesn't work, and brands really owned up to that. I thought that was really special, but probably
You
from like the get-go of like doing this as like an unsponsored, unpaid thing.
But do you remember our first tagline?
Oh, the real truth about the fake shit.
Exactly.
I mean, I thought we could talk about some of the day. Like some of our show has been so like
Yeah,
it's gone through an evolution.
for sure. Like I said, you really took the baton and you ran with this puppy. And, after COVID, after all the dust had settled, so to speak, and your career shifted and you knew exactly what you wanted, you knew exactly where you needed it to go. And it was so fun to become a fan again of the show and to become a fan of you and watch how you shifted and changed. And you did such an amazing job. And I, not to bring it back, but I remember walking in Washington Square Park dragging a suitcase because I was coming up from DC, and you going like, I think we can do it. I think we and we had just left a doctor's office and shot like, just a quick Botox video that like we just had no idea where it would go. And hats off to you. I'm just this little, I'm not going to blow smoke up your ass too much, but I have to just say you really you must be proud of yourself. You have to just smell your own flowers for a second, because you really truly, you were 10 toes down with this puppy from day one, and you didn't see it any other way, regardless of business or regardless of opinions. And regardless, you have to be proud of yourself, because I am very proud of you. I know the listeners are very proud of you. The brands are proud of you. You've opened quite a few doors for quite a few people. And all right, that's enough smoke blowing, but it's true. It all stemmed from one idea.
Yeah,
One.
thank you, but like also don't discount yourself there, because I had a lot of my guy friends who have zero interest. I mean, listen, a lot of my guy friends actually do have a lot of interest in skincare. But then there were the few that were like, I don't really care about this, but I love listening to Ryan because he's so damn fun and funny. And I was like, I know, he's the best.
You had a lot of people don't know this, but the podcast thing like hadn't quite taken off yet, right?
No.
People were kind of dipping and doing a little bit, like zillionaires were throwing money at it. They were trying to see if they could make money. And you had been a guest on a podcast and they instantly like were like, "Rawr, you're gonna be great. We want to take you and like remix you." And you were like, "Right, what do you think?" And I was like, "Well, I think you need to find a partner in crime." And I told you exactly what I thought that partner in crime needed to be, what she needed to be for you. And then you turned around and looked in the mirror, or we were doing your hair at the time at the salon. And you went, "Well, yeah, she's you." And I
She's
went,
you.
"What?" I never saw that coming. But you were right. And it was a perfect jump off of an idea. And the beautiful thing about friendship is, and I love that we it wasn't always easy. You can't always, it's tough to like start a project with a friend, right? And you never like you see how I work, you see how you work. We're so polar opposites, and thank you for dealing with me. um and then boom, we went into a pandemic.
Yeah.
And I watched one of our old episodes this morning and I was like, "Oh, were we grasping at straws or what?" Like,
Which
we
episode was it? And like, do you have any favorites?
I have a few favorites. I mean, we jumped on Zoom before Zoom was Zoom. Do you remember?
Can we just for a minute? Because now everybody like Zoom is like, but the first hour, so we used to book out like an hour and 20 minutes for each guest because the first 20 minutes would be like, no, 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 just see that little button that looks like a camera. Okay, no, no, now turn that. No, no, okay, okay, now, but you got to turn your camera facing you.
Mm,
And okay, now do you see it was a nightmare.
it was.
Now it's gotten so easy. So in some ways, COVID was the best thing to happen production wise because everybody got it.
Everybody got it real quick. Some of the time because it made us really dig deep into our gut, really be authentic. It really was the real truth about the crazy shit. And we was talking about dropping off single process hair color to my clients at the door and social distancing, and you were talking about melting off your own gel X off your nails, and like you were so proud of yourself because we were like, okay, we can't be the only people freaking out, and like, all right, well, no one's getting a fill in and no one's going to the nail salon, and we really did, we rallied and we just kind of kept the conversation as light as we could during that time. And I think we with our audience's reaction and their suggestions, I think we really truly did our best. And I mean, it helped me stay sane in that process
Do you
because we had
remember?
each other.
Do you remember when we got the Halo laser? So when Ryan and I first started, if you haven't gone back to the early episodes, like we would meet doctors at their offices, set up our mics, do this before it was remote, and like try a product, try something out. The Halo laser.
All I remember is we were very professional, and we did the interview after we got the laser, and that was probably about 30 minutes. And then you and we pack up all our stuff, and we get in the Uber, and I look at you, and I go, "Oh my God, my face is on fire."
Fire.
I had had plastic surgery. I had had hair transplant. I had done some stuff to myself, but that halo laser hit all of a sudden. I was like, "Are we gonna make it home?" Like,
Did we come back to my place? I just remember being like with like ice packs on my face.
yeah,
And then the days after, the days after where your skin just starts molting off and like you had an event to go to. I went into work and the girl was like, please remove, like, don't get anywhere near my coffee cup because I'm worried your face is literally going to flake off into it.
exactly. We were so vain. I don't think we knew how vain we really were because all of a sudden we became like a version of the mask. And we were like embarrassed and like subconscious. And I was like, "No, Amber, dig deep. I think this people with like acne may feel." I mean, I was trying to get us to like bring it back home. But at the end of the day, I mean, it was a fabulous treatment. It was very expensive, but I could
It
have
was,
never have guessed what it would have done to us emotionally and mentally because nobody took that's not in any pamphlet, but we got to talk about it.
I liked it I think that there is a certain person for it. So, like, I maybe if you have like real textural issues, for me, that amount of downtime. Look, our skin was glowing. We
Ooh,
got the glow, but
for
it
sure.
was like legit 5 days of like I can't really make plans. Like I've got to. I would be on the subway going to work, and just you could see people staring at me like, "What is wrong with that girl? Like, what's going on over there with that
That
face?"
was yes, I remember you going through that. Now, we live two different lifestyles, right? Like 5 days for me, I can sit on my head in the corner, right? I can make mac and cheese and like swing the kids. You're like 5 days. Oh my god, you New York City snob you. I love you. I'm like 5 days, that isn't nothing. Give me the glow again.
Well, but, like, if I had the time off, like, when I
Yeah,
did my breast lift, that was the best week. I mean, part of it makes me wanna do more plastic surgery just to have the week off. Like, I
right.
laid in bed, I watched TV, I mean, it was like a mini vacation, in some ways, which is kinda sick to say. However, some of these procedures where you're like, "Shoot, like, I didn't plan for this correctly, and, I have to go out and interact with the world," it's not great.
No. No, 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 I hear you. Um
What else? Let's see. And the crazy thing is I was looking back and trying to guess the number of guests we've had. It's a little bit harder without me having to count, but like it has to be well over 250. We've had some repeats, but then there've been some episodes where there's like two guests on.
true.
Um so it's just insane to think about all of the
I
information.
information, products I still use today.
Yeah.
The masks from the like is Hear Me Raw.
Oh yeah, you love
I
Hear Me
loved
Raw.
those. I loved those masks. And the woman who created that took away the vellus hair. She was awesome. What was her name?
Dara. With the one with that was well, wait, there was 2, so I'm just trying to remember. There was one that had the electric, or there was one that was just the straight razor,
So there was yeah, I believe it was this it
like
was
the
the one with
electric. I think it was
electric
the electric, yeah, very user-friendly. Um, oh my gosh, why am I thinking Dermaflash.
Dermaflash.
Dermaflash, yes.
We sat in that interview and I was we left that interview and I was like, "Girl, we're doing stuff. These are
Yeah.
like this is the real deal." And then, the rest was history after that.
I left it and I was like, "Ryan, why did you not tell me that I was, like, basically like a bear on my face?" Because when you take it off, it's the amount of hair, and I'll tell you, of all of the many procedures and things that I have done and tried, dermaplaning, which is removing the face, is something I still do every week. I have now since advanced from the Dermaflash, which is so fabulous because it is so user friendly,
Mhm.
to now using Stack skincare. They were another guest I think I had on after you were not with the show. They did it's a straight razor. It is literally you are taking a straight razor to your face. But man, I feel like if you are not dermaplaning, you're missing out.
It's something worth trying for sure. For even if you don't wear makeup, even if you've never had it done, it's a huge change, a huge after, so to speak.
It's just your makeup goes on smooth because you have no vellus hair. And then people would be like, does the vellus hair grow back thicker? It doesn't, by the way. I've talked to many doctors. It will not grow back thicker. But, it's different for me than for you because you've been shaving or not shaving for years of your life, right? Like, so you're getting that same effect without having to, like you shave, right? So, like, I look at
Yeah,
Tom, my husband, he shaves every day. And I'm like,
every day.
so now I'm like, I'm doing my lady shaving too.
What was the favorite um, fan email or thank you got? Does that ring anything for you? Because I have one.
No, first of all, shout out to my mother who has watched every single episode, who comments on YouTube
Oh,
on everything. No, it's like
honestly,
so special. And my dad too, who's listened to many, many of them, but my mom listens to everyone, comments on everyone. So
no,
biggest fan. I'm so lucky to, this, to still have her here. I just
of
shout out
course,
to mama.
love it.
How about you? What do you remember? Oh, wait, you're freezing. Oh my gosh, and you're freezing on a face that you are not gonna be pleased with. What is going on with the streaming today? Are you there?
Hold on, can you hear me now?
I can.
The young woman who lost all the weight, and yes, and she came on our show, and she had a phenomenal story. She lost, I think, well over 100 pounds, and she
She had
started the conversation about the lift for you, and it was her story that just flooded us with different fan base emails and questions, and it was she was an amazing. I guess she had an amazing domino effect on a lot of our listeners, right? She moved a lot of people and changed a lot of lives, so to speak. That was cool.
I mean, we've covered the gamut from so many things from fashion with the style guys
Yes.
to doctors to personal people who come on talking about everything from hair loss to weight loss, tuberous breasts, right? That was the
Yep.
one, right? And,
That
and
was the
just
one. You're right.
we're so lucky to have
And then the
this.
doctor who did all the breast augmentation for the women who rebuilt their breasts after breast cancer, and we did the book launch, and I just
Yeah.
sent that book to a friend of mine's friend who went through that, and she wrote me the most beautiful thank you like 2 months ago because
Yeah.
it was a huge tool for her to heal,
Yeah.
and to listen to the other women's stories, and I was like, oh yeah, Amber and I did that, we did that, and we went to that launch, and that was really, it was awesome, just so cool.
Now,
Um, Go
since
ahead.
we started, like, what are some of the other, you mentioned the Hear Me Raw products. Like, what are some of the things, and maybe like if you don't mind sharing, like the procedures, like you stayed in it, like
Oh,
what are
yeah.
some of the things that you're like loving, or maybe that we haven't featured on the show that you're like, you got to check this out.
So, well, I've always said that we needed to do a quick. Oh, I should have
Hmm.
brought my mug. Um, I always said we should have done a penile enhancement episode. And it's just, and even in the small few years that we've been together on this platform, and you've taken it and run, it's just come, it's come very far. All the boys are doing it. I mean, if you can have your boobs done, why can't the boys have their friend done? I think we'll leave it there.
All
Um,
fair. All fair.
but one of my favorites of all time, I think, was when we did. I got you to DC in
Yeah.
Maryland, and we in Virginia. You did the DMV tour with me, and Dr. Miriam Nas,
Yeah.
who is hands down one of my most favorite ocular facial plastic surgeons. I mean, she can operate on babies' eyelids.
Yeah.
And she did the best under eye filler I've ever had in my life, and I need to book a flight to go see her
Isn't
because
that
I'm no longer there.
Isn't that the thing that's, like, crazy too? Like, some of the doctors, I'm like, "I want to come," because we've interviewed them all over the country, and I'm like, "I need to come out to see you because you're so good." Um, Under Filler, do you remember we did the cryo freezing thing? My first and only time?
I still have the videos on my phone. Won't delete them.
Do you still do that?
I do.
No.
So I love things that are natural and who that boost endorphins for my own mental health sake. I think that because of the show, I got to open my eyes and try different things. I am such a huge fan of, if I'm in like down in the dumps, like it's rained a couple days here, I will go jump in cryo, and
Yeah.
it's like amazing. And I love.
Wait, what do you love? Shoot, why is technology not working for us today? Come back. There you are. You're there. Wait, I can't hear you now.
B12 shots that I do twice.
Oh, B12. Okay, B12. Oh, twice a
Oh
week.
no. Go twice a week. I love B12. It's an amazing boost for energy. It burns fat. I recently lost like 15 pounds again. Okay, and a little M sculpt, which we got to help launch. Do you remember that?
Yeah, sculpt was amazing. Well, but like super effective on you because you don't have the body fat on top of your stomach. But me, it was like so strengthening. Like I wish I could have one in my living room.
Correct. Another,
Um,
just another $200,000 machine we should buy.
yeah, exactly. 250 is actually, I think, what it is now. So by the way, on your cryo, I do hot yoga. That's my so that's where we're different. Like that heat. I'm bred to be kept in warmer climates, let me tell you. This cold weather,
Yeah.
no thank you. Mm-mm. How about skincare? Were there any skincare products that you felt like really stayed or anything you've learned about?
Yes. Still to this day will eat rice and beans, but I will always have Skin Medica in my bathroom.
Yes, I love. I was trying to understand where you're going with the rice and beans. Got it,
So
because
I
Skin
will
Medica
literally
is,
like not eat so that I can have Skin Medica on my face
yeah.
every single day. It's
TNS is like
the best for
is
me.
yeah,
For me,
yeah.
I, I know. Listen, I know everybody's different with our polar opposites. What are you? What are you? Are you still wearing the same skincare? You can't be. You have so much. You have access to everything.
The one thing that I just really do love, but it is, and I'm lucky because through this show, I made a friend who will certainly hook me up here and there, is Natura Bissé.
Yeah.
Natura Bissé, though, is so expensive, but my God, you put it on, like Tom and I have written songs about it because it smells so good, and I'm not even lying. And their micellar water, I'm doing
Mm,
a lot of these videos now with Laura Geller, and her makeup's great. But when you're putting it on, taking it off, putting it on, like I'm doing 10 different looks in a day. I found that a lot of like those makeup remover wipes, they burn. Like it doesn't work for me. The micellar water from Natura Bissé is, but of course, I why doesn't the $8 one work as
work.
well? Like I would use the $8 one. It burns my face. Theirs is
Right.
like 65, which is like, oh, but it's so good.
I
It
love
takes
it.
everything off one swipe and you're good to go.
So, what advice would you give the new Amber coming down the block? The girl maybe just graduating or thinks she wants to start a beauty podcast with her beauty bestie, right? Cuz she's listening. She's been watching. She's been taking notes. They always say you got to pay it forward. What's the number one form of advice you would give to her?
Do it if you love it. Like you can't the reason that you and I did this, and maybe there were dreams that we would get big and bought out somewhere, but like at the end of the day, we loved it and we were like, we love beauty
Yeah.
because I don't know. You hear about these podcasts, obviously, that like the Joe Rogans of the world who are clearly raking in the dough. But I think that like everything else, there's so much competition um, that like it's okay to do something because you love it and not for the money, because other things, like I got my job with Laura because she was on the podcast.
Right.
Like I interviewed her, like those things will come. So I guess, just do what you love because eventually at some point that success will grow.
Exactly.
How about you? What would you say?
I never in a million years thought that I would be on a podcast, right? Until
Yeah.
you turned around and said, "Bitch, it's you." Right? It wasn't, and I think that's the most important thing in my life. That when you have opportunity, you got to say yes. And if you can help your friend, and you can push people forward, and you can be that like 10 fingers that goes boom, get up over there. It's just, yeah, say yes. And you never know where it will lead, and you never know where it will take you. um I think I shared with you the other day. I called you because I needed a good cry with my good friend, right? And I just accomplished my first movie, and it's really cool. And the director that I met, and who also wrote the script with me, he's watched the podcast and was like,
Yeah.
"I love you,
Yeah.
and I love you on camera, and you're great, and let's whatever you want to do, let's do." And it was some of the clips from the podcast that he loved,
Yeah.
off the Instagram that it definitely led to my next big thing too.
Yeah. Oh
All
my gosh.
because all because we said yes.
all because we said yes. I will also say listen to people. Like, one of the things that, I got feedback, and one of the comments was like, "Great guess, but, like, Amber, shut up." And I was like, "Fair point."
Oh, really?
Yeah, 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 yeah. I mean, on that, can we all just be, like, a little nicer to each other on social? I mean,
Never
just in
gonna happen.
general, never gonna happen, but actually, I thought that was actually very constructive feedback. Um,
Yep.
you have these experts here, let them do their thing.
It's a good point. It is a good point. You're also, I agree and I disagree. There's a light within all of us, right? And we shouldn't let anybody dim it. Sure, maybe you needed to take a breath. Maybe you needed to hear it. But in the same breath, I mean, the show would have never been the show without you. So, I mean,
No,
wow, you're hosting a show. You got to talk.
yeah, but I didn't take it like that. Like, what I thought it was actually good. It was like, Amber, it's okay to let the guests talk on and on
Oh,
and
yeah.
on and on. And listen, sometimes, guys, you're glad that I cut them off because otherwise it would have been.
Forever.
But no,
Forever, ever.
most of our guests have just been so incredible and so knowledgeable and had so much to offer.
Yeah.
And I think the nicest thing is that when we finished, like, so many of our guests were like, "That was so much fun."
Very true. Very true. And then who was the guy? I so wanted you to hook me up with him, and we still have to find out if he's single. Um,
Wait, which
the,
one?
the chemist who did the vitamin C, the tall, dark, and handsome chemist. What was his name? Ron.
Oh my gosh, Ron. Oh,
Yes. So hot. So hot. I'm just
I
putting it
don't
out there.
I don't think
I
you ever told me you wanted to get together with him.
did. Girl, you're just so busy. It's all right. Listen, I believe everything happens for a reason. Ron, call me. So hot.
Oh
Anyway,
my god, amazing, and a great line. Can we just
uh,
say, can we give
y-
the shout out?
yes, amazing line. He's so smart. He's so handsome. He's just my type. Okay, moving on. Um,
This
had to
is
get.
why it's so much fun. Listen, hey, I want this to be something for all. If you could find love by way of an episode, I'm here for it.
Absolutely. Give me these 10 fingers to the next relationship in my life.
I don't want to know what these 10 fingers are going to be doing in that relationship with that. So we're going to leave this. So what's
Too
like,
funny.
so you just finished a big movie.
Just
Um,
a big movie.
it's going to be on
Um,
Tubi.
you know what? I'm not sure where it's gonna
Oh,
be.
okay.
I think you know what? We're gonna leave it there. I'm not sure where it's gonna be. We just wrapped principal photography, right? So we're gonna be doing some, hopefully product placement pickups. Thank you. Um and yeah, I we're in the editing phase and I think it could go almost anywhere. I got really lucky. A great, amazing, amazing team, amazing crew, amazing cast. And without giving away too much, I'm buck naked in some of it, and I
Well, I'm
I
glad you
had
put
to
it out there
like
because I know the next one was my mom was going to be like, "Where can I see the show?" And I'm like, "Mom, this
uh,
one like might not be for
be for
you."
you. But I had to lose weight fast. I had to like get in the gym quick. I had to shift my and all of the tips and tricks that we know because of I used everything I learned off of the show.
Yeah,
Like I said, thank God and shout out to my crew here in Metro Detroit. Be Well, specifically Silvio and Nurse Ashley at Be Well. They got my body together.
ripped. So,
Thank God.
if people do want to check this out, though, they should follow you at Ryan Nickulas. You'll be
Sure.
posting where that is, right?
Of course, I'll know in about 6 weeks, probably
Amazing.
eight
And
weeks, and
anything else?
You'll be coming to the premiere, obviously.
I can't wait.
Of
And
course.
then you've got a birthday next week, so happy
Yeah.
early
Oh,
birthday.
thank you. Thank you
What
so much.
what else do you have going? Like, any thoughts for the year or any thoughts to leave with our audience?
Yes, I'm single and I'm looking to mingle. So set me up, please. I need my next husband. I'm ready.
Ryan, this is why I love you. No shame in your dating game.
No, I'm
Um, so much to offer and so much fun. And, for everybody who is listened, who has listened, who's still listening right now, just thank you so much for staying with us, for listening in, and I hope you'll stick with us. Join me on this Laura Geller journey. Her makeup is incredible. It
Really?
is like, we've done so many things, and not to like brag, but I've been offered jobs with brands. Hey, you should come work with us. And incredible brands that I loved, but there was never that thing where I felt like, wow, this embodies everything that I believe in. And when I met Laura and her line, like the fact that she doesn't use models under 40 anymore, and that it's a place for women. Her makeup I started wearing at my 20s, but now in my mid 40s, it's really great. I gave it to my mom who'd given up on makeup, and now at 76, she's like excited to get ready again. And
Oh,
I also liked it because I felt like it's a place where I'll be able to grow. Right?
yeah,
Like, I'm not gonna hit 50 and they're gonna be like, "Thanks, nice for playing," or 45,
exactly.
and they're gonna be like, thank you. Bye-bye." So, I hope you'll continue to join us and me.
For sure. I
Um,
love I love that you found your new home. I
yeah,
really do. And it
I do.
sounds like you really did.
I do. I do. I do.
Mm.
I feel really blessed about that. Well, I guess what is like a you're so cool. What's the
Me?
sign off? Yeah.
Do you remember our old sign off?
Well, no, Ryan, that has been our sign off. See you next Tuesday stuff.
Okay.
See
Did
you
it
next
really?
Tuesday has been on every
Every
sign off that stuck.
Well, even though we're not going to see you next Tuesday, we love you for listening and watching.
We love you for listening and watching. And you know what? I'm going to keep the episodes alive. So I will have them up for, a little while until that just gets too expensive. But we're going to keep them up. So go back
Yeah.
and yeah.
And anybody who wants to basically buy out the podcast, hit Amber up.
Yep, right. We're always for
Shameless
sale.
plug. Always for sale. Because we didn't in the beginning, so we might as well sell it in the end. You never know.
I just love you. Hey, listen, you never know. You got to put it out into the universe. My beautiful people, my beauties, everybody who's listened, thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you. As always, we will see you next Tuesday, just not here.